Welcome back to our channel Visionary Vlog. In this video, we will be discussing one of the most controversial and significant figures in the history of the world, Adolf Hitler. He is one of the most infamous leaders of all time, and his name is synonymous with some of the darkest events in history. In this video, we will take a closer look at Hitler's life, from his early days to his rise to power and eventual downfall. Adolf Hitler, one of the most notorious figures in world history, was born on April 20, 1889, in the small town of Braunau am Inn, located in the province of Upper Austria, Austria-Hungary. He was the fourth of 6 children born to Alois Hitler, a customs official, and his wife Clara. Hitler's father was a strict and domineering figure who often beat his son, and his mother was a gentle and caring woman who doted on him. Early childhood. Hitler's childhood was marked by several tragedies. His younger brother, Edmund, died of measles when Hitler was just 3 years old. Hitler's father was a strict disciplinarian who frequently beat his son, and his mother was often ill and bedridden. In 1900, the family moved to Passau, Germany, where Hitler attended school and showed a talent for drawing and painting. However, Hitler's father did not support his son's artistic interests and wanted him to become a civil servant. At the age of 11, Hitler was sent to Realschule, a secondary school in Linz, Austria. He did well in some subjects, such as history and German, but struggled in others, such as math and science. Hitler's grades were poor, and he left school at the age of 16 without graduating. After leaving school, Hitler moved to Vienna, the capital of Austria-Hungary. He hoped to study art at the Vienna Academy of Fine Arts, but he failed the entrance exam twice. Hitler was devastated by the rejection, and he blamed Jews and Marxists for his failure. This was the beginning of his anti-Semitic beliefs, which would later play a significant role in his political ideology. Hitler struggled to make a living in Vienna and lived in poverty for several years. He worked as a casual laborer, selling postcards and paintings, and occasionally stayed in homeless shelters. During this time, Hitler became interested in politics and was exposed to anti-Semitic and nationalist ideas. In 1914, World War I broke out, and Hitler was eager to enlist in the German army. He was rejected because he was too weak and had poor eyesight, but he eventually joined the Bavarian army as a messenger in 1916. Hitler served on the Western Front and was wounded several times. He was also exposed to mustard gas, which caused him to develop a persistent cough. During his time in the army, Hitler was awarded several medals, including the Iron Cross, Second Class, and First Class. He also developed a deep hatred for Jews and blamed them for Germany's defeat in the war. After the war, Hitler returned to Munich and began his political career. Rise to power. In 1919, Hitler became the leader of the NSDAP, and he quickly began to reshape the party in his image. Hitler was an incredibly charismatic speaker, and he used his talents to attract a large following of supporters who were disillusioned with the state of Germany after World War I. Hitler's message was one of extreme nationalism and anti-Semitism, and he blamed Jews for many of Germany's problems. In 1933, Hitler was appointed Chancellor of Germany by President Paul von Hindenburg. Hitler quickly consolidated his power, and he began to implement policies that would reshape Germany and eventually lead to World War II. Hitler's regime was marked by brutal oppression of political opponents, the establishment of concentration camps, and the persecution of Jews and other minority groups. World War II. In 1939, Hitler invaded Poland, and this marked the beginning of World War II. Over the next several years, Hitler's armies would conquer much of Europe, including France, Belgium, and the Netherlands. Hitler's regime was characterized by brutality and violence, and he oversaw the murder of millions of people, including Jews, Romani people, homosexuals, and disabled individuals. In 1941, Hitler made the fateful decision to invade the Soviet Union. This decision would prove to be a turning point in the war, as it stretched Germany's military and economic resources to the breaking point. The Soviet Union's eventual victory over Germany was one of the most significant events of the war and marked the beginning of the end for Hitler's regime. Downfall and legacy. In 1945, as Allied forces closed in on Berlin, Hitler committed suicide in his bunker. His death marked the end of one of the most brutal and destructive regimes in history. Hitler's legacy is one of hatred and violence, and his actions continue to be studied and debated by historians and scholars around the world. Adolf Hitler was one of the most significant figures in the history of the world, and his legacy continues to be felt to this day. His rise to power and eventual downfall are a cautionary tale about the dangers of extremism and the importance of upholding democratic values. It is essential to remember the lessons of history and to work to ensure that the atrocities committed by Hitler and his regime never happen again. Thank you for watching, and we hope you found this video informative.